Well, I think they should have a definition of recovery point objective, recovery time objective, and what processes that the company has, business processes, are critical to the corporation. I also think they should test these plans and make sure that they're executable by everyone. Well, I think continuity of operations depends on the kind of threat they're under. If you're looking at natural disasters, making sure there's some geographic distance, I think that's very important. If you're talking about the issues like the current, concern around pandemics, I think geographic distance is important, but also monitoring, understanding which staff has been where and what aspects they've been working on. I think at the end, the most important aspect is a well-trained staff that really well understand the business continuity plan and how it's executed. Well, I think proper planning sets the groundwork for making sure that we have a strong business continuity process and operations. I think understanding things like the security challenges is really key to implementing business continuity. With security challenges, I mean access to information, who can access it during the business continuity implementation, but also after. I think at the end, choosing trusted, reliable vendors for all aspects of business continuity, including the networking, the physical facilities, the infrastructure and so forth, with experience in this, helps mitigate most of these types of concerns. I think businesses are fairly well prepared actually. Most corporations, particularly the ones in countries with common frequent natural disasters, earthquakes and wildfires and so forth, are pretty well prepared. It's inherent in their DNA. I also think companies that come up with backgrounds that are telecom related have an inherent natural understanding of the requirement of keeping business up and running at all times. However, I will share this too, that there are some challenges. Asia has experienced a tremendous amount of growth over the last decade or so. And the growth is not just in Asia in business, it's also reflected in the data centers. This growth has sometimes been hard to keep up with, and particularly in the business continuity aspect. And I think, it's well prepared and it's ready, most of the businesses, but growth in some areas have made some parts of the data centers perhaps be slightly behind. But I do think that Asia in general is pretty well prepared. Well, I think the first and most important thing, and it's almost never done, write down your plan. If it's written down, even if you're not there, the executive or the top technical engineer, if you're not there, if it's written down and are there to, anyone can follow it. We should always assume that during the time of, when there's an event where we need to execute the business continuity plan, we should not assume that we're going to have the best possible talent or the people who made the plan. We're going to have the people who happen to be there. And so ensuring that it's written down, it's well documented, that we have certifications in place for our staff, and that we have a method to evaluate how well we adhere to our plan. I think that's key. Some of the biggest companies in the world, what they do is they go around and they audit their environments for adherence to the business continuity plan. And I think that's a good best practice. Some companies don't have the manpower or the skill to do the audits themselves, perhaps choosing an external party to audit on their behalf. I think in general, ensuring the adherence to the policies and the processes is a really good thing, particularly when it's written down.